Hello. Have you ever been in a situation where those you thought were closest to you suddenly turned away from you at the worst possible moment? When you, believing in their sincerity, suddenly found yourself alone and vulnerable to the world? Let's face it, friends are your most dangerous enemies. Yes, that's right. They know your secrets and weaknesses, they see you in your moments of vulnerability, and most importantly, they envy you. Jealous of your happiness, success, career advancement, whatever. And this envy can turn against you at any moment. If you only stumble, and those who were next to you, the first to stick a knife in your back, and you, blindly trusting, will not even have time to realize how it happened. Ancient strategists said that the most dangerous enemy is not the one who opposes openly, but the one who hides under the mask of a friend. A true enemy is always honest in his hatred and contempt. He does not hide, his intentions are clear, and he can be played with openly. Friends, on the other hand, are insidious in their apparent affection. Their true motives are often hidden behind false smiles and empty promises. How many times have you stepped on this rake, believing that friendship is a guarantee of loyalty? It is because of this that many great men have failed, because they did not see the threat in time where it was not expected. One day, the life paths of two school friends, who have not seen each other for many years, crossed again. One of them, Anna, who had a beautiful family and average income, was simple-minded and sincere. The other, Margaret, was cunning, intelligent, calculating, and a successful businesswoman with a large income, but living alone. The childhood friends began to meet often, and after a while they seemed to become best friends in adulthood. But behind the scenes of their friendship lurked Margaret's jealousy of Anna and her family happiness, which Margaret was never able to find. Margaret, seeing her friend's weaknesses, began veiledly pushing Anna to think that she deserved more in life, and one day she suggested that Anna start a business together. Anna, inspired by her friend's support, invested all her savings in the new business, hoping that soon her family would be able to significantly increase their income. But as soon as the business began to generate income, Margaret began to gradually remove Anna from decision-making, claiming that she had more experience in business. And then, after gathering false evidence and falsifying financial statements, Margaret accused Anna of stealing company funds. As a result, Anna was facing not only loss of money, but also huge debts. Only then did Anna realize that Margaret had planned the deception from the beginning, taking advantage of her naivety and trust. All Anna had to do was watch Margaret, whom she thought was a friend, ruthlessly destroy her life, demonstrating that there is no room for weakness and trust in this cruel and unfair world. So, one of the basic rules of success is not to trust your friends. They can be the cause of your downfall faster than you realize it. Don't do anything foolish by relying on their loyalty. Remember that everyone is looking out for themselves and their own interests first and foremost. Therefore, look for allies, partners in business, and in anything among those who do not know your weaknesses and secrets. Even your former foe or enemy, wanting to prove their worth to you, will be much more loyal than any friend. Stop being naive. Stop believing in fairy tales of friendship. It is your weakness that will lead to failure. Only those who are able to manipulate understand the true price of power and success. Make sure you play by rules that actually work. Better yet, create those rules yourself. Hello. Have you ever had a situation where you thought you easily crushed someone who stood in your way or was simply different from you? When you used your intelligence, strength, or humor to break or ridicule your opponent, and he or she seemed to accept defeat. But then, after some time, this person suddenly began to act against you, accumulating resentments and turning them into a weapon of revenge against you? In life and in business, you can't expect everyone to silently skip blows and swallow resentments. There are those who may outwardly appear submissive and non-threatening, but inside them boils rage, which sooner or later will spill out. And then, when you do not expect it, they will strike back, from which you will not recover. Are you sure you are ready to take such a risk, just to feel a fleeting superiority? The philosophy of the great strategists of antiquity teaches us that the worst threat is the one we overlook. Disdain for petty adversaries is a dangerous mistake. History is full of examples of proud and self-confident conquerors who underestimated the weak and were defeated. Wars are not won by those who rush boldly into battle, but by those who can see beyond the visible. They know that true control of a situation is achieved not only by force, but also by the ability to recognize those with whom they are dealing. Strong strategists never enter an open conflict without understanding who is in front of them and what consequences may await them in case of a wrong move. It's important to remember, your seemingly innocuous opponent may turn out to be the one who will turn your life upside down if he or she feels cornered. One day, the following situation occurred in an IT company. One of the top managers, Tom, was constantly making fun of his colleague, Samuel, a middle manager, which the latter disliked very much. Samuel was too withdrawn, moody, and incomprehensible for most of his colleagues, and because of this, he looked like a loser in the eyes of Tom, who was always cheerful and witty. Tom often made fun of Samuel in front of his colleagues, thus maintaining a cheerful atmosphere in the team. And colleagues in these as-if-not-evil jokes always supported Tom and even encouraged him to continue them. Samuel held a grudge against Tom, but did not show it and pretended to accept the fact that Tom had professional and personal superiority over him. One day at a corporate party, Tom had too much to drink and began to ridicule the company director, calling him a slug for leaving right after the official part to his wife, who is the daughter of one of the owners of the company. Samuel secretly recorded the moment on his phone and later sent the video to the company director from an anonymous number. Tom's career in the company was instantly over. He became a pariah, labeled as a schemer and gossip, and even his friends turned their backs on him. So, never underestimate people, no matter how insignificant they may seem. Don't try to ridicule, intimidate, or deceive those you don't know well or whose reactions you can't predict. Take into account that one rash attack can turn you into a target for those who are ready to defend their honor and dignity to the last. Use a strategy of reasoned analysis instead of going in head first. If you're not sure how a person will react to your action, refuse to make an aggressive maneuver. This is especially true in the world of business and personal relationships. For example, you are trying to outmaneuver a competitor, considering him weak, but he suddenly begins to methodically destroy your reputation, use your mistakes against you, and finally strikes a crushing blow. In such situations, a cynical approach to analyzing your environment and understanding who you are dealing with are your main allies. Before you act, make sure that your actions will not backfire on you. Play with wit, not fire. Hello. Have you ever wondered why your life is sometimes plunged into problems that seemingly should not be? Have there been situations when other people's troubles and misfortunes, like a black hole, pull you into the abyss of hopelessness? You think you are helping, that you are a noble rescuer, but in fact you are harming yourself greatly. Instead of lifting others up, you are sinking to their level downward. Is it worth it? The question is rhetorical. The reality is this: the people around us directly affect our luck, and if you are constantly surrounded by losers and whiners, don't be surprised that their misfortunes will become yours. Luck does not like those who pull ballast behind them. Luck likes winners and strong, not those who in their kindness try to pull on the surface of other people's problems. Ancient strategists knew one simple truth: bad luck is a contagion, and it is transmitted faster than any disease. The sages warned against associating with those who constantly complain, who pull a chain of failures behind them. Each person is a kind of vessel that can fill you with light or flood you with darkness. What is the point of staying in the company of those who emit only negativity? After all, it inevitably destroys you, undermines your strength, and deprives you of any chance of success. It is easy to sink with those who are already going down, but it is much more valuable to get away from them and stay afloat. One day, Regina, a successful dentist with a brilliant career in one of the best dental clinics and a strong and friendly family, decided to help her brother Mark get back to normal life. Mark throughout his life was a whiner and a loser. He poisoned the life of everyone around him, and his life was full of debts, alcohol, and problems with the law. And despite this, Regina loved him because she had no other brothers and sisters besides him. Trying to save Mark, Regina didn't notice how his failures and the plume of negativity from it all began to destroy her own life. Constant stress caused by her brother's problems led to quarrels with her husband, and then to divorce. At work, Regina became inattentive and nervous, and began to make frequent professional mistakes, one of which cost her the career of one of the best dentists and led to legal proceedings. In the end, instead of saving Mark, Regina ruined her own life, falling into the same circle of bad luck from which she wanted to protect her misguided brother. So, don't try to be a hero by saving those who are destroying their own lives. Other people's problems are not your problems, and your task is to avoid them at all costs. Surround yourself only with those who bring light, who go through life with luck and success. Do not let other people's misfortunes ruin your destiny. If you notice that a person is constantly in the center of trouble, think, will you not become the next in this circle of bad luck? Avoid such people. Do not give them a chance to drag you into their problems. Let it be cruel, but this is a game of survival. Those who know how to weed out the weak and unlucky win. Remember, success and luck love those who surround themselves with the right people. Make conclusions and act, coldly and calculatingly, because this is your life, and only you decide with whom to live it. Hello. Have you ever had a situation where you trusted someone with your plans and then found out that they were thwarted or used against you? Every time you reveal your intentions, you put yourself at risk, because in this unfair world, naivety is a weakness and openness is a luxury that only those who are not afraid of failure can afford. But you're not one of those, are you? If you want to survive and win, you need to learn to hide your true goals. It's not a matter of just going for your goal, but getting there before anyone even realizes you've planned it. The sages and great generals of the past understood that in the big game, it is not who is strong that wins, but who knows how to mislead. Wars are won not on the battlefield, but in the minds of your opponents, who remain ignorant of your real intentions. Distraction, false moves, and completely confusing the enemy. This is the real strategy of victory, and it makes absolutely no difference whether it's winning on the battlefield, in business, career, or anything else. If your opponents are convinced that they know what you want, you've already lost. That's why ancient strategists preferred to keep everyone in a state of precarious equilibrium so that no one could predict their next move. They knew that uncertainty and fear of the unknown were their best allies. Once the following situation occurred. Two female colleagues working in the same department of a large corporation had been supporting each other for a long time. They were considered friends, discussed plans together, shared ideas, and helped each other in their work. One of them, Elizabeth, had developed a promising project that could be a breakthrough and bring her a well-deserved promotion, and she needed a few more days to complete the project. She confidentially shared the details with her colleague Claudia, counting on her support, who advised her to take her time and spend much more time to complete the project. A week later, however, Elizabeth was surprised to find that Claudia had used her ideas and was the first to present them to management, adding a few minor changes and presenting the project as her own. As a result, Claudia was promoted and Elizabeth remained in the shadows, betrayed by someone she trusted. This case shows how dangerous it is to rely on perceived friendship in a highly competitive environment. So, if you want to manage the situation and achieve your goals, stop being transparent. Abandon any illusions of naive honesty. Never reveal your plans or your intentions to anyone, even if someone tries to elicit them under the guise of friendly interest. Stop being naive. Everyone in this world is trying to use you for their own ends. Instead, create false expectations, manipulate attention, and steer others down a false path so that the moment they realize what's going on, they have no time or energy left to resist. Hide your true motives behind a facade of indifference or insignificant details. Let your enemies wander in the dark trying to make sense of your actions while you ruthlessly implement your plans. If you want to be on top and stay on top for a long time, never show your cards until the end, or better yet, keep them up your sleeve until the last moment. Control the game rather than letting it control you. Hello. Have you ever had a situation when people you help suddenly started to think that they can do without you? You invested your knowledge and your efforts in them for many years, and in the end, they grew professionally or in some other way and left you, taking with them what belongs to you. Why does this happen in life? Because you allowed them to become independent. You gave them everything you knew and left nothing behind that will continue to keep people dependent on you. Your mistake is that you have forgotten the cardinal rule. If people are not dependent on you, you are nothing to them. In a world where everyone is trying to grab a bigger piece, your only guarantee of success is the ability to make yourself indispensable. The more people need you, the more power you have. And if you allow them to become independent, they will abandon you to your fate at the moment when it will be most painful for you. The sages of the past knew that the most reliable power is power through dependence. Great leaders, strategists, and rulers have always used this principle. They did not allow those around them to become completely independent because they understood. If you give a person all the freedom, they will cease to appreciate those who gave them this freedom. True manipulation is to create the illusion of freedom while leaving the keys to this supposed freedom with oneself. When a person thinks that he is close to independence, he actually becomes more and more entangled in the net of dependence. And the deeper he sinks into this dependence, the less chance he has of independence. One day, William, an ambitious university graduate, decided to go into business. He sold the house he had inherited and used the money to start a business from scratch. A few years later, when things were looking up, William decided that he needed to expand the company's activities. And to further grow, he invited his old acquaintance James, with whom he had studied at university, and whom he considered a reliable and capable person, to join his company. James, of course, accepted William's offer because at that time he was working in a company with limited prospects for career growth and received a salary that was 1.5 times lower than the one offered to him by William. William generously shared his knowledge with James, revealing the secrets of running the business and passing on his expertise to James, hoping that together they could reach new heights. James was very grateful to William for the opportunity, quickly settled in, and began to take an active part in the company's development. Over time, however, as he gained more knowledge and experience, James realized that he could act on his own. He decided it was time to capitalize on the opportunities that William had opened up for him. James eventually attracted investors and opened an exact replica of William's business, but under his own personal brand, using everything William had given him. He took with him most of the customers, key contacts for raw materials and technology that William had worked on for years. This was a real blow to William. His business began to lose ground rapidly, and he was soon forced to close. So, never make the mistake of sharing your knowledge completely. Give just enough so that people remain dependent on you and cannot do without your help. Yes, it's hypocritical, so what? Ultimately, you won't care about the opinions of those around you when they're on a short leash and you're on top. Keep them in a state of constant need for you. Don't let them become independent. Let them depend on you for everything, for work, for success, for prosperity. Only in this way can you guarantee yourself power, control, and true freedom. If you don't take advantage of their dependence, someone else is bound to take advantage of you. That's the game. And only those who control the addiction stay on top. Make the right choice. Be the master, not the servant of someone else's success.